Did I recently purchase the wrong camera? What's up, homies? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Rob Anzit, full-time photographer and marketing agency owner here in Ontario, Canada. And this video is all about whether or not I bought the right or wrong camera. And we're talking about the Nikon ZF today. I just want to start off by saying this isn't a spec video. This isn't about details about megapixels and full frame and crop sensor and all that fun stuff. It's about my experience and my POV on using the camera in the last month and whether or not I absolutely love it or hate it, or I'm gonna relist it and sell it. So this main video is about helping others to either one, not do what I did, or know that it's okay feeling the same way I do on whether or not when they purchase it, it was an impulse purchase after watching and listening to your friends, or whether or not it feels okay to sell it and trade it and move on from the camera. Fun fact here is I'm not sponsored by Nikon, I'm not sponsored by anyone, so you can take my information with a grain of salt, but I do shoot a lot of fun projects. I shoot a lot of fast-paced projects with dirt bikes, classic cars, brands, coffee, models, all that fun stuff, and I do it full time. And this has been put through a few tests so far, and I'm gonna speak about the pros, the cons, whether or not you've done the same thing as me and bought the camera and regretted it or absolutely love it. But this is what this video is about. So I'm excited to talk about this, and let's kind of jump right into it. Now, if you've watched any of my other videos previously, you would know that I went from Canon to Fuji, the X100V and the XH2. That's currently videotaping me right now, and it's my go-to body for most adventure projects. And in the last video, at the very end, I mentioned that I was looking at the Leica Q2, Q3, or something with Nikon. I purchased the ZF with my own money and another lens as well too. For most of you, you have probably fallen into this buying process of having friends who either own the gear, who rave about it, who let you test the gear to see if you like it. If you've watched way too many YouTube videos, definitely guilty of that, and being influenced by a YouTuber who is either being paid to talk about the camera, the specs, and how much they like it, or they ended up getting it shipped to them for a sponsored video. There's so many other ways you can be influenced, and not just from YouTubers and friends and stuff like that, but just because you think you actually need it when you don't. We're not here to talk about that. We're just here to talk about the Nikon ZF itself and whether or not I made the right decision. So we're gonna talk about my experience. Why did I end up purchasing the Nikon ZF? Most of you know that the Fuji is crop sensor. So a little bit less low light conditions, autofocus is a little tight on it, full frame capabilities, full frame lenses, all that other stuff. But the real reason I purchased this was for the full frame capabilities, and that it almost mirrored the same kind of ergonomics as the Fuji X100V, and ergonomics as like an old school tactile buttons. Now, pro tip for most people watching here that might be interested in testing gear, sometimes you don't get that experience, that real world experience, and that's something that I felt has happened when I purchased the Nikon ZF. You get friends, you get YouTube videos, you watch them, you go into the store. Obviously the store has the worst light conditions, you're shooting products on a shelf and stuff like that, but it's not real world conditions. I feel like it's not for me. It doesn't have the right handle and the grip and the kind of buttons where they need to be. I will speak about the pros first of the Nikon ZF, just to make sure that everyone knows that I do truly love this camera still. I don't want to sell it. I just don't know if it's still right for me after I'm going to put it through its paces in the next couple shoots. But for me, it's the tactile buttons. Everything feels a little old school. It takes a little more time to dial in unless you change the settings like I have to shutter, aperture, holding down the record button and changing the ISO. feels solid. The build quality is amazing. I love the film kind of simulations that it kind of replicates from Fuji in their own kind of style. And it's something that I really enjoy because as a quick, fast-paced photographer or someone who shoots social media content for some of my clients, it's good to have a recipe that you don't necessarily have to edit the photos entirely, and you can just use the JPEG straight out of camera. That's a huge win for me. Two big other factors are the autofocus is absolutely amazing. Low light conditions is amazing. I'll show you some photos from when I drove my truck around during a rainstorm, and it was amazing. And also the menu functions, they're just very easy to operate and go through, and that's something I do truly love, because when you're out in the real world and you need to change settings or remember settings, something that I have here for studio lights or using strobes, I keep it there, but it is very easy to use and operate and go through the menu. After I get this handle grip off, we're going to talk about the ergonomics. And I don't want to see in the comment section, well, you should have watched YouTube videos talk about the ergonomics and how the handle isn't really the greatest and that you can't put your finger grip on it. And okay, I get it. I watched YouTube videos and I watched everything and checked out a few things about the ergonomics and all the grips. But what I will say is the ZF ergonomics are quite shit. They feel okay with a small 28 Nikkor lens, sure. Oh, my lens cap went into my coffee. Shit. I'll be back. It's not smells like coffee, it's kind of nice though. Okay, back to what I was saying. Yes, I watched a bunch of YouTube videos and everyone talking about the ergonomics and how awful they are, but you know, everyone has different hand preferences, and even on my X100V, there's a little hand grip here that I use, and it feels right, and it feels cool, and it's got a back thumb grip as well too. But yeah, this feels okay in the 28mm lens and how light it is. But if we swap this out to a lens that I also purchased, 35-150 from Tamron f2, it's quite big. It's super front heavy, and I've seen people talk about that. And there's no real back button to place your hand on, so you're gripping it inside your kind of palm here, and it just doesn't feel right. I'm gonna take this back off again. So yes, I did purchase a grip. Newer makes this grip, and there's two grips. There's a smaller grip and a way bigger grip, and I went with the bigger grip. Italian meatball fingers, sausage fingers. But after you put this on, it does feel a lot better. Now, if I'm comparing this with my XH2, the XH2 just feels so good in my hand, but this still doesn't feel right. There's almost, I have to put a little clear button here just to keep my thumb on something, because the back button focus, the autofocus, I think should have been here, and then you can just put your hand here and slip it back and go back and forth instead of going forward and back. Other thing I don't like is the focus button is down here. I would have loved to see the focus button up here so that you hit the autofocus here, and the kind of button or the tracking button for focus would be here. Now don't get me wrong, when you're holding the camera, it still feels okay and you're shooting, right? And you just be clicking, sure. But without the grip and stuff like that, it's so front heavy with any lens, even this 28mm. And when you slap on the 35-150, man, your hand is gonna be tired if you're shooting, let's just say a race day for 4 to 8 hours. You really can't go through that too long. Now, another option that I'm planning to try out with Sigma lenses is the adapter for the ZF to, I believe, Sony lenses, full frame lenses, just because I think I didn't give this a fair shot by attaching this monster of a lens, the 35-150, onto the body and shooting it and being like, oh, this is very top heavy. maybe I really need to test out different lenses. And there are a few options out there with the ZF that I can attach adapters to put on Sony lenses. So I'm planning to do that in the next couple weeks as well too, to give this a fair shot. But as of right now, I do love it. I'm still shooting with it. I'm still giving it a fair shot. I think the ergonomics of the handle grip, especially adding this extra piece, definitely helps. And yeah, I'm gonna see what happens when I keep shooting it. And I'll show you guys a few more pictures, but I wanna know in the comment section if anyone else owns this Nikon ZF, whether or not they love it. What lenses do they use? Have they used any adapters out there? Do you have a grip on it? What kind of photos do you actually take with it? And for anyone else watching, if I sold the ZF, what should I look at next? So thank you again for watching this YouTube video. I'm super stoked to know what you guys think about whether or not I fucked up and purchased the wrong camera for what I need it for, or whether or not I should stick it out and keep testing out the ZF to its full capabilities, changing lenses, maybe adding an adapter, changing the grip, and seeing if I truly love it after some more testing. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I hope you guys got some value from this. I'll see you guys in the next video on Thursday. Peace and love from your homie Rob Anzit. See ya.